Hi, everyone. Thanks for listening. We have a great show today. We have Michaela Leung, who's a digital journalist, Pilates instructor, and curator of All Is Well. We dive into all the different things she's doing as a Columbia, South Carolina ambassador, as voted on by several people, it sounds like, and all the different journeys of her fitness and wellness and health aspect, and then how that's grown into a newsletter that's specific for Columbia. So I hope you enjoy. Thanks for listening. Hello and welcome to Here for the Health of It podcast, Columbia's hottest podcast. I'm Dr. Randy here with Dr. Tom as always. And if you're watching this, you're probably wondering why there's this massive trophy right beside me. Michaela actually texted me before the show and asked me to bring it because she knew that saw that how big it was and wanted to see it for herself. So here it is. It is the top trophy for Columbia hockey other than the Gamecocks.
Well, it's Stanley
hockey.
Cup.
Stanley
then
Cup.
it goes to the Columbia trophies.
Yes.
And you have Gamecock basketball, then the Danco Cup.
And then football's just
football's
under
right
it.
underneath it. Yeah.
And for those of you wondering, scored the game-winning goal with 13 seconds left. Everybody always says, oh, is there hockey in Columbia? And it's thriving right now.
Nice.
So just in case you're wondering.
I was
The
thinking about
attendance,
that.
how many were in it?
Oh, it was packed.
Yeah, too many.
So many. They're thinking about doing it in the football stadium next time.
Willie B wants it.
So we have a great show with Michaela Leung.
Wait, what did he do there? Did he do it right?
Yeah, he did. He broke it
Young.
up.
I broke
but
it up a little
that's
bit.
okay.
I had to write it down
Yeah.
as Lee Young
Yeah.
so that I would remember to say it right. So you're a 2025 Columbia ambassador, which is
Yes.
very cool. So you represent the city,
Mm-hmm.
and you do a lot of social media stuff. You do a lot of events. We were going through your bio earlier, and you do a ton of different things.
Too many things.
We have behind you on your screen, we have digital journalist, Pilates instructor, curator of All Is Well, on top of being a Columbia ambassador.
Yes.
So thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
So tell us about how you got into the ambassador role, first of all. I'm very curious about that and who approached you and how you ended up there.
So apparently I was nominated. Okay. So apparently I was nominated, and I had the most nominations. So yeah.
Do you know who nominated you?
No, they didn't tell me.
It was random.
It was.
You want to
random.
throw our names on the list for next year?
You know what? I could.
Or maybe 2027?
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Is that an endorsement?
Yeah. This is my
We're going to
official
clip
endorsement.
that up.
All right.
Yeah, great. Love that.
So yeah, so they reached out to me, I think in August, and they asked me, and I was like, absolutely. And I had to keep it a secret until January. It was really hard.
And you're terrible at secrets.
Did you write it in your journal?
I told my husband, so I didn't give it a complete secret. I was like, I gotta tell someone.
somebody.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So it was announced in January, and yeah, it's been fun.
Now, what do they have you do? Is there anything like when they pick you and you're like, great, I'll do that? What's the like bullet points?
So first I had to take headshots. So I got to,
Nice.
pick a place that like I really felt like represented, my vibe. I picked Rosewood Market, of course.
Sweet.
So yeah, I work there part-time. I'm their marketing coordinator.
Cool.
Yeah. And I just love Rosewood Market. So, I did my pictures at the side where that mural is, and it was really fun, really cute.
Nice.
And so like that's the picture that you guys see. Well, you cut it out, which is nice. Nice
We
editing.
trim it.
Yeah. So yeah, I took my pictures there, and then I had to tell them like a list of like all my favorite places in Columbia, and then we're gonna do some videos, some B-roll of me, hanging out, and yeah.
Nice. Now, would you script that out, or are you going to wing it?
Oh, they scripted it. So I
really?
did my voiceover already.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I did like my voiceover and some talking to the camera things, and then now we're gonna do some B-roll, and then they're gonna like overlay
That's
it. But yeah,
great.
Experience Columbia, they're great.
Sweet.
Yeah, they wrote that script. They're like, "Does this look good?" And I was like, "Absolutely." And yeah, I read it off, and yeah.
And they probably put it in ChatGPT. To
No,
be fair. Really?
No. So I work with Experience Columbia with my full-time job
Yeah.
at 6 a.m. City, the parent company of Cola Today. So I work with them, and like those are some real journalists over
They're
there.
right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
And is the part of the pitch just that they want you to do a ton of work over the next year?
Hey, we're going to pay you nothing, and I want you to do all this.
Thankfully, no. Everything looks like it's going to be fun stuff. So it is more stuff to do, but it's stuff that I'm excited to do. So
That's cool. So, and will you get sponsorships out of this? Are you looking for a sponsorship from someone?
I'm always open to that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to see like what other things I can, do with this and how like I can integrate, all as well into stuff like this. So we'll see.
Today's episode is brought to you by our sponsor, Columbia Family Chiropractic, with 3 easy-to-get-to locations, one in Forest Acres, which is by Trader Joe's, one in O'Neill Court by the DMV, and one in the Northeast by Sand Hills. You'll be sure to have somewhere near you. They offer a ton of services from corrective care, on-site digital x-rays, spinal decompression for bulging or herniated discs, dry needling for injuries, pediatric care, and a Class 4 laser. They accept all your major insurances. And if you mention this ad, you'll get a discount on your first appointment. Check out their website at cfc4health.com or Google Columbia Family Chiropractic. That's cfc4health.com. That's a good segue into the next thing.
Okay.
I was almost thinking like maybe we should just name off the things that you don't do.
Yeah.
It might be quicker. But All Is Well is
Yes.
a publication.
Yeah, it's a newsletter. It's a bi-weekly newsletter.
And it seems like you're really focused on health and wellness in it.
Yes, I love all things health and wellness. It's been a passion of mine for years now. And for a really long time, I was just like, I want to put something out there. Like Instagram is great. I was like, I don't want to do a blog because it's like, what? I have to do that every day. Like, no.
Right.
Vlogging, no.
Ew.
Like, no.
Vine. Are you old enough to remember Vine?
I do remember Vine. But I could not be a vlogger. Like, no. So I was like, what can I do? And at the time, I was working at Richland County government. That's my previous job. And I was responsible for the Richland County newsletter. So I was doing this weekly newsletter for the county. And I was like, what if I did a newsletter? And then I was like, weekly is too much of a commitment. How about we do every other week? And I just started. I think it's going to be 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So I started it, and I've just been going ever since, and it's been a lot of fun.
What platform are you using? Like MailChimp?
Yes,
Is that what it is?
MailChimp,
Okay.
and that's what I was using at Richland County. So I was
Nice.
like, okay, I already know how to use this, so like, why not use it for my own thing?
So MailChimp isn't cheap either.
No. So then, okay. So MailChimp will start charging you when you hit a certain amount of subscribers.
Yeah.
So then I was getting close to, hitting that mark. So I was like, how can I monetize this a little bit? And that's when I started doing stuff with affiliate links. So
Nice.
at this point, the newsletter pays for itself and then some.
That's nice.
Yeah.
How does someone get on an affiliate link?
So first and foremost, you have to make sure your Instagram is on point. If you want to do like
Fire.
yes, like you got to have a
Lit.
Yes, hot. Okay.
Hot.
You gotta-
HAWT.
Yes, hot. Your Instagram account has to be hot, so that's first. And then, and another thing too, people are like, oh, I don't have a lot of followers, and it's like, that doesn't really matter. It's your engagement that matters the most because people can pay for followers. You can have 20K followers and 2 likes because they're bots.
Yep.
So, that doesn't really matter. So just, curating your page first and foremost, and then like kind of finding a niche. So since I like health and wellness, I started like looking to get affiliate links from health and wellness brands. And another thing too is I only do affiliate links for products that I like and support. So, sometimes companies will reach out and they're like, hey, like, do you want to have an affiliate link? And I'll be like, no. Or I'll just not respond because it's just something that doesn't resonate with me.
Yeah.
So that's also something that's really important. It's like finding brands that you like and that you want to support.
Mm-hmm.
So
I always feel good about podcast links or podcast sponsors. I buy a ton of stuff from podcast sponsors because I just trust the person and I know if they're recommending it, then it's going to be good.
exactly.
Versus just, going to a random website and not knowing what to expect.
Exactly. And like that's how I think of my affiliate links too, because like I said, these are products that I would like tell you about anyways. So yeah, it's just like just think of it as like a recommendation from a friend. So yeah, that's why some things I say no to. I think there was one for Febreze.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, no.
Toxic.
Yeah, no.
Chemicals straight into your brain.
Exactly. I'm like, no. So
Right. Good for you. That's awesome.
thank you.
Well, tell us about your health journey then. How did you, what got you interested in health in general?
So my mom is a nurse, actually. So, and then also my family is from Jamaica. So they've always been into like, herbal medicines and stuff. It's like, oh, you have a headache?
Yeah.
Have some mint tea, So that's always been something that's been a part of my life. And then when I was in college, I always tell people, I'm like, I've been doing this since the apple cider vinegar craze, you know, which I still think apple cider vinegar is fine. Everyone's like, no, it was like a placebo. You ever heard about that?
Yeah. I always still thought it was good. I didn't hear the bad.
Yeah. People are saying, they're like, oh, the guy that has brags, like they made it up or whatever. I'm like, I don't know. I like it. But yeah, so just starting and trying different things. I've always liked to try different like health and wellness things and like see if I like them. And then my friends would ask me like, hey, like, what do you think about this? And I'll tell them. So I've always just been really into just trying new things. And then fitness too. I've always loved working out. So then I feel like my health and wellness journey has kind of like evolved. Cause like, you know, back in like 2020 and stuff, like everybody was into like astrology. So I was like, oh, okay, let's see what astrology is about. And it was more like a spiritual time. And then I feel like now I'm kind of in like my physical fitness era, you know, learning about metabolic health, really prioritizing like strength training, working out, because I felt like I was in the best shape when I was pregnant because I felt like I was training to give birth. So I was like, you know, I need something to train for. So now I say I'm training for my 30s and beyond.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's good. Were hot girl walks and hot girl salads, is that still a thing or was that just a phase?
Hot girl walks, yes. I actually have a hot girl walk every week with one of my besties, Antonia. And yeah, we do a little hot girl walks. And then I love a hot girl salad, a Caesar salad. Love it.
Great. When you go on these walks, do you guys do anything that like maybe movements that would entice? Or is it just regular walking?
So we're both married. So the only thing, we've got the incline up. So
no audience then watching.
No, we're at the Planet Fitness. And we're just walking and yapping.
Yep. All right, good. You know what I was thinking when you were talking about, so your mom's a nurse.
Yes.
What about grandparents? Like I always felt like my grandma had these remedies that were just like, as a kid, I thought they were magical.
Yeah.
And it was just concoctions and ointments. And like before I knew what a knot was, like a muscle knot.
Yeah.
My grandma would be like, here, let me warm up my hands. And like, she'd like warm up her hands and then like put it on my like neck and be like, oh, right there it is. And I was like, whoa,
like, how do you know that?
How do you know that that's a spot? And then she'd just like work on it and feel better. I'd be like, she's magical.
Yeah. I mean, my grandma, we were at my grandma's house back in December. We went for Christmas, so we were in Jamaica.
Yeah.
And my daughter had a cold. And she was like, oh, she needs a lime leaf tea. And I was like, what? And she just literally like leaves from the lime tree in her backyard.
Right.
And she picked it, she washed them, she steeped them, and the cold is like gone.
Yes.
So then like my mom went to Jamaica, and then my grandma called me because I told her it was cold here. And she was like, you need to make sure she has mittens so she doesn't get frostbite. And I'm like, whoa, like grandma, it's not that cold. And she was like, I sent some lime leaf tea. And like, we'd also like bring stuff back. Like we used to go to Jamaica like every summer when I was a kid. Cause you know, my grandma still lives there and a bunch of other family members. And like, we would bring stuff, but then like, you know, they kind of cut down on it. We had this thing called Leaf of Life, which is just like some tea leaves from, I don't know which tree. And like, we blended it up one year to try to like get it through customs. And they were like, no. So that kind of put a damper.
From Jamaica.
Trust me, it works. It's good for certain things.
Nice.
I always kind of thought that they would just give you things that tasted so bad that it would make you quit complaining.
Yeah.
It was like, if you complain for one more minute, I'm going to shove this concoction in your mouth.
I mean, I think sometimes, it's just like, okay, here's the thing. My grandma, my other grandma, my dad's mom, she used to make me garlic tea when I was sick, like just boiling garlic.
Garlic and water.
Yeah, and add some honey in there, and I loved it. I would. Sometimes I wasn't sick, and I'd be like, Grandma, can I have garlic tea?
Right.
It's like, ew. I'm like 5, smelling like garlic. It's gross.
And so now two things. So Jamaican guys are super tough, I've found. Is that your experience?
My dad,
when I grew up in Canada, but the guys who all came from Jamaica, they would often end up being like security or bouncers because I was terrified. They were always just muscled up and so tall. Is it like that everywhere in Jamaica?
Not everywhere, but yeah, Jamaican men really are tough. My dad was a police officer in Jamaica, so
that's really tough.
Yeah,
he could get scary sometimes.
Oh yeah. I remember as a kid, like my friends would come over and they'd be like, "I'm scared of your dad." I'm like, "He's nice." Like, I don't know what he's saying. I'm like, He's just talking. But yeah, and I have cousins in Canada. I have a lot of family in Canada.
Really?
So
Yeah. It was. There was a time, I guess, when it was really
Canada or New York. So we lived in New York. I grew up in New York, and then I have like cousins in Canada and stuff. And I just saw my Canadian cousins in Jamaica, so it was fun.
Nice.
Nice. What brought you to South Carolina?
Well, so I was born in New York, but I really grew up in Georgia. My family moved to Georgia when I was like 10. So after college, I got my first ever job as a news reporter in Idaho Falls, Idaho. So then I was in Idaho. I was like, it's cold, not really feeling it. I want to come closer to home, but I don't really mind not living in Georgia. So I found a job at a local news station, and I left my contract in Idaho early. So I got this job at this local news station. I was there for a day. And my old job found out where I went. I don't know how to this day. And they called and they're like, if you keep her, we're going to sue you. Yeah, news is messy.
Kidding.
Yeah, news is messy. And I even had like a lawyer look over my contract. He was like, yeah, this is garbage. You know? He was like, you can go. But like news is just so messy like that. Anyways,
There's threats.
Yeah, there's threats of suing, even if it just won't even.
Just to scare you, yeah.
Exactly. So they were like, we got to let you go. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I got fired. Yeah.
Ooh, first gig, fired.
Well, second gig.
Second gig.
First day though.
Yeah, first day of the
Yeah,
second gig, fired. And I was sad. But now that I look back on it, I'm like, it really was a good thing because I really didn't like news.
Yeah.
I really didn't like it. And I wanted to get out of it. And I would have stayed doing it because it's like, oh, like I said I wanted to do this, so I got to do it. So that, and I was talking to someone earlier and I said that it's like one thing about careers is like, don't be afraid to pivot. If you want to switch gears, you totally can. So it ended up being like, you know, a blessing in disguise. At the time, it didn't feel like that. But so I took that and I was like, you know, I don't even want to do news anymore. So I got into public relations. So I got my first PR job with Richland County government. So I did that for almost 3 years. And then I moved on to 6 a.m. City, Cola Today's parent company. So I've been doing that for 3 years now. So long story short, I came to Columbia for a job.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you love it here?
I do.
I mean,
really
as
do.
an ambassador, you kind of have to
I
say
love
that.
Columbia. No, I really do because it's a capital city, and so there's so many things to do, but it still has a small town feel.
Yeah.
Like my sister, she lives in Atlanta. She loves Atlanta. She went to Georgia State. Like she just loves the city.
yeah.
And I just know. I went to like college in Valdosta, Georgia. Like if you don't know where that is, then that is understandable. I was always like, you know, a small town, like community kind of feel.
Yeah.
So that's what I really like about Columbia.
Where did your husband come in this picture?
Oh
Like,
my
where do you
gosh.
meet him on this journey? And what was it like?
I love this question. Okay, so we met on Tinder.
Yes.
Yeah.
How many years
Yeah.
ago?
Oh my gosh.
Early Tinder?
Yeah, 2019.
Okay.
2019.
Okay.
Pre-pandemic.
Yeah, pre-pandemic. So I had a friend that went through a breakup. And I was like, you know, let's put ourselves out there. And he
Yeah.
was like, let's get on the apps. And I was like, yeah, let's get on the apps. So I made a Tinder and I was just like, whatever, swiping, who cares?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he's cute. My husband. And
The guy right before you.
I was like, oh, he's cute. So yeah, and then we just started talking, and that's the only Tinder date that I went on.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. What was your profile? Like, how'd you set your profile up? What quote did you go with? What was your like photo? Did you go bikini shot? I'm just curious.
It was just standard, just
Standard?
me. One thing about it, I'm like, I'm anywhere I go, anything I do, I'm like, I'm always just gonna be myself. So I'm just like, here's what it is. It was just like a headshot, and then like, you know, some just cute, like fun, like out and about pictures. And yeah, just from there, we just.
Did your husband have any shirtless ones or like holding the trophy fish or
He did.
Or a big hockey trophy.
like a hockey trophy? Yeah.
He did have one. Okay, so there were some photos that stood out. Like one, he was like in like a gym. I was like, okay, great, he works
Nice.
out. Then he had this
Check.
other picture with a singing bowl. You know, like they use like in younger. I
sound,
was like,
yes.
oh, so yeah, those two really stood out.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Tom loves a good
I
sound
love
bowl.
a good sound bath.
Oh my gosh, if you love sound baths, you should go to Rooted Yoga. They have sound baths every so often.
Do they?
Yes.
I went to one at Columbia Fit Columbia, whatever. I don't know what order that goes
Fit
in.
Columbia.
Fit Columbia.
Angela
Yes.
Young? Yes, okay.
Yes. It was awesome. We were hanging
Yeah.
in the cocoon too.
Oh, the one that Shiana does.
With Shiana, yes.
Yeah.
I was into it.
Yeah, I love
You
love
you
sound rolls.
teleport.
You really do.
Yeah.
Or have you done yoga nidra?
No.
Oh my gosh. That
You got to be flexible.
no, you literally just like lay there and it's like you're laying there or lying, whatever,
Yeah,
whatever,
either
what it
way.
is, whatever. One. So you're there and that they're like, okay, now bring attention to your hand, your forearm, and you're bringing attention to all these parts of your bodies. And
Yeah.
You're just like so relaxed. You're just like laying there. It's
See,
great.
That's nice.
Yeah.
No, like you really don't have to move. They just talk.
No, they just
Oh,
talk
I'm
to you.
into
It's like a
that.
meditation. It's great. It's really
Yeah.
great.
How you put up your Tinder profile picture seems like it's very important. Women, it seems like, and
Yeah.
we missed the entire
Yeah, we didn't
Tinder
get it.
phase.
Yeah.
Like, so I've been married for 15 years, so I
fun.
didn't have any of those new apps.
You know-
I had MySpace.
Yeah.
Back in the day, that was like our big thing.
It's better that way. I mean, I just the internet is great, but it does come with its caveats. I
Yeah.
feel like in-person connection is really important, and I feel like we've kind of lost that along the way. Like especially like during the pandemic, where like everyone was like isolated. I still feel like we're coming out of that. So it's like you really didn't miss anything in the Tinder, Bumble, Hinge.
Right.
Apparently, Hinge is the one now. I don't know. I'm out the game. I've been out the game for like
That's what your
5,
single
6
friends
years.
are in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like Hinge is the one. I'm like, okay. whatever.
How many swipes left would you do to a swipe right or whatever? How many no's
How many
to
no's?
a yes?
Oh, I'm real picky. I'm like, no. No.
Right. Even maybes are no, I feel like. for
Yeah,
most
maybe
women.
is a no. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I feel like women on dating apps clean up.
Yeah.
And guys just wouldn't do well.
Yeah,
There's a
no.
lot of-
And especially there's what's the other one? Bumble. I think like the girl has to
Yep.
talk first or something. It's like, yikes.
Right.
Yeah, I wasn't on that one. I was like, you got to talk to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
I like
but then
that.
your inbox just gets flooded with hundreds of people.
I
right?
know, but that's life, you know?
You
You're
got to be
fine
ready
with
for
it.
that.
You
the
gotta
occasional
prepare.
nude pic like, it just comes at you.
Like life happens fast.
That's how I picture Tinder. It's just like inappropriate photos flooding your inbox.
Tinder, not so much, but there are other apps. I've seen Grinder, and
Oh,
that
God.
yeah,
Yeah.
that gets wild.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I have some friends that were on there, and he's like, "Look," I was like, "Whoa, oh my goodness. Whoa.
Hey, I'm married.
I'm a lady. Like, get this out of here, you know." So it can get wild.
Yeah. Grinder, I haven't heard about that much. Tinder,
Yeah.
I hear about
Yeah.
more, but it's pretty much gone now, is from what I
Yeah.
know.
And then there's so much scary stuff happening. You know, this is just I don't know. This
Right.
is not. Sometimes
Like
I feel like
meeting up?
yeah, it's like sometimes the era for that is like done.
Yeah, all
you know?
these Netflix documentaries
Yeah.
about killers meeting up with their victims.
Yes, it's scary. I'm like, get off
Right.
of that. Meet someone in person. Go to a coffee
Yeah.
shop.
Or
I
on
don't know.
Instagram, like a normal
Or on
person,
Inst-
or
yeah.
Facebook, or wherever they are.
Exactly.
But that's a good point. Like, where should somebody meet for the first time? Like, there should be some, for sure, red flags
Absolutely.
of like, don't meet.
Don't
in
meet
the
at someone's
ba-
house
Well, yeah.
or at like a hotel or
even-
something.
Yeah, or like get picked up by the person.
Oh, definitely not. You got to
Right?
take your own car. Yeah. So
Yeah.
my husband was living in Augusta at the time. So he drove. We had our first date at Taza. I'm like
Taza?
very public
Nice.
place, good food, not expensive,
Yep.
public place
Yep.
first and foremost. So yeah,
Now,
crowded.
when he came in the room, did you guys hug? Did you handshake? What was the first little moment?
So me being me, I was late. So he was sitting there
Yeah.
already, and I was like, "Hey," and I think we did hug.
Okay,
Yeah, we
he like
hugged.
got up, kind of. Did
Yeah.
he do like a one arm or a?
He did do
full?
a one arm.
Yeah.
That's really my only critique.
You
You
wa- you
know,
wanted the full
I
arm.
wanted a full hug, but
See,
that's
guys
okay.
don't know.
They don't, and you know that's it's better to be cautious than like
Yeah.
you're over here like
Too aggressive.
ew.
Like you don't want to go in for kiss, like a little
Yeah.
kiss on the cheek
I'd
or
be
something
like,
might be
"Oof."
too much.
I,
You
I
don't want
know
a
you.
handshake, though. You
Oh,
don't want
yeah,
to go the
no.
other direction.
High five.
No.
Fist bump.
The elbow.
COVID bows. Yeah, I love a good COVID bow. Good
Wait,
to
a
see.
COVID bow. I love that. Oh
I
my
want him to
gosh.
come back. All right, great. So then he moved here.
Yes.
Yeah. What industry's he in? Is he in health and wellness space? Or?
No, well, personally, he's also into health and wellness. So it's like I'll find out something. I'm like, hey, Michael. Also, we're Michael and Michaela, so that's fun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I love that.
Your mail gets mixed up.
Yeah, that does happen. Well, I haven't changed my last name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's my maiden name. My passport expires this year, so then maybe
You're gonna
now.
switch it up, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not getting a new passport
Yeah,
before
it is
it's
a
time.
hassle.
Big hassle. So that helps. But yeah, we're Michael and Michaela.
Is his name? So your name's spelled Michael.
Yeah.
His is also spelled like that.
Yeah, so if sometimes I'm writing his name, I might throw an A on there, and I'm like, oh, that's me, not him.
Yeah. When you're signing his documents.
Oh, I'd sign my dad's documents.
Really?
Like, no, sometimes like I can forge my dad's signature. I learned that when I was a kid.
For homework
Yeah,
assignments and stuff. Yeah,
absolutely.
you
So
gotta.
there was something he had to do, and he was like, I need to sign this. Like, oh, don't worry, I got it. He was like, what? I was like,
That
oh,
is
babe,
funny.
I've been practicing your signature for years. And I did it, and I showed him, and he was like, oh my gosh.
Wow. And he's a cop.
That is funny.
Yeah. My dad, like, I see like old pictures of him and like his police uniform and stuff. I'm like, oh, I'd be scared of you.
You know what's funny? I just that made me think of that is back in the day. Yeah, we'd get like a slip of paper and it'd be like, yeah,
Yeah.
have your parents sign this and bring it back. Whereas now it's all electronic, so they know about it.
Yes.
There were so many things that I wrote notes
Yeah.
for that were like my mom's signature.
Absolutely. My mom's signature was too hard. My dad's easy. I was like, okay.
Good point, yeah.
Trevor. I'm Trevor today.
My dad's was just straight lines.
Okay, my dad's is like the last name, and he takes the G. He's fancy a little bit. He takes the end of the G, brings it around, and make a T. It's cute. I'll show you later.
okay.
I can do it.
I missed those. Those were some days.
Yeah.
I never did that.
He
I
was
was
just
just
by the
truthful.
book. By
Oh
the
my gosh.
book. Oh
Okay.
my gosh. Look
Okay.
at this.
There's a
righteous
couple of
person
heathens
over
here
here.
I want to podcast with.
Well, now it's like I tell my parents, I'm like, yo, back in the day, I said I was here, but I actually lied. I
Yeah?
was like with my friends, and they were like, what? Or well, my mom was like, oh, I knew that. And I'm like, no, you didn't.
Sure you did.
Yeah.
All right, tell us. I want to know about 6 a.m. City.
Yeah.
That's new?
No. So 6
been
a.m.
out?
City is the parent company of Cola Today.
Okay.
So they first started, I want to say 2017, 2018. They started with Greenville Today. Then they branched out to Columbia, then branched out to, I think, Charleston's next. And then it's just been growing ever since. So we're in a bunch of cities.
So it's South Carolina derived.
Yes. Yeah. The
Okay.
founders live in Greenville. Our base office is in Greenville. Yeah.
And tell the listeners kind of the point of that versus, say, Cola Today or Greenville Today or Charleston Today. What's the difference between the two?
Oh, well, 6M City is like, it's the parent
Shortened
company.
version
No,
or
it's
a-
the parent company.
Oh,
So
it's
it's like
just
those
like
are
umbrella.
under. Yeah. So those are
Oh,
under
gotcha.
6am City. And I think we're in like 20 something cities now. Like we're in Seattle, we're in Portland. So because I work for 6am City and not just Cola Today, like I have content all over the place. So right now I'm doing in addition to having like clients in Columbia and Charleston and Greenville, those are like our base areas. Oh, and Richmond, Virginia. I do our wellness newsletters. So, we have Cola Today Wellness and Greenville Today Wellness, which is bought by and sponsored by Prisma Health. So I work with Prisma to create this monthly wellness newsletter. And like we have one in Charlotte and Winston-Salem. That's Navant Health. Or is it Novant? I haven't figured that out. And Seattle with UW Medicine. So I work with these clients to create like monthly wellness newsletters.
Cool.
So in the newsletter space, can you speak to that a little bit? Because we've tried to do newsletters and kind of done them, and then we'd hit our max on MailChimp, and then it would kind of fall off. And most of our chiropractic clinics are like very word of mouth, and lots
Yeah.
of people just know about us or see us or we sponsor things. But the newsletter side of it, I think, is nice because you
Yep.
get updated about the company and what's happening and what you want. We just really haven't found traction in it yet.
So the key to that is going to be consistency. And then what you want to do is like give them something to, really look forward to. So I think like information is important. So, and I do this for all as well. It's like, yeah, like I have a roundup of like 9 body creams that you should buy, but also there's like some, factual stuff. Like here's 5 stretches that you should do. And then for those, like I consult like an expert, like I might ask my chiropractor or my physical therapist to like, do an article. You want to give your audience like something that they can take from it. You don't want it to be like, oh, okay, like it could be like, here's what we have going on. That should definitely be in there, but give them something that they can like leave with and something they can look forward to.
And would you curate it to different age groups and demographics? Like the 25-year-old might be interested in something very different than a 70-year-old.
That's true. So that's where it comes to having like a variety of content. And like that's just like across the board. Like you also find like who your target audience is. I mean, chiropractic care is like you can have like a broad age range.
Right.
But like think about it, like everyone's back hurts. So everyone can benefit from like, oh, here's some stretches you can do to like ease back pain and stuff like that. Or like, okay, here's if you sit all day, here's some things that you can do to, stay active. So there's things that everyone can benefit from no matter what age. But then you can also niche it down sometimes too.
And have you played with different segments? How many, say, having 2 big segments versus 10 mini ones?
Yes.
And hyperlinks to each one?
Yes. So so for All Is Well, I'll have like, my big pieces of content. And then at the end, I have a website too. And I'll like link back to previous content. And those are like shorter blurbs. Because what you want to avoid is reader fatigue. And that's something that 6 AM City is really big on. I don't know, like if you guys are subscribed to Cola Today, you'll see it. Like that lead story spot is limited to 300 words. So they're not long at all. And then it's like, the news notes that you see like at the end, where, the little blurbs, they're limited to 50 words. So it's like just pieces of information because nobody wants to read like a whole novel, in their inbox. I don't.
Right. No.
And you don't want it to be clickbaity, but
No.
clickbaity works.
Sometimes it does, but you got to think about it. Like it'll work and get the clicks, but people aren't going to follow through because they feel like they've been like duped.
Yes.
It's like, yeah, I clicked on it, but it's like, oh, they duped me. So it's like, I don't want to buy this.
Right. Or unsubscribe to it because
Exactly.
it wasn't truthful in the beginning.
Exactly. And yeah, so I love newsletters. I have my own, I do newsletters for 6 AM City. I do Rosewood Markets newsletters, and like those have different styles. Rise's newsletter I do also. So I've learned a lot about the newsletter space, and I think newsletters are really valuable because it's like you have their email addresses, like you can reach them. Like we saw what happened with TikTok, where it was like, oh, it's gonna go away and all this stuff. Maybe that could happen to Instagram. You don't know. Then you'll lose your whole audience. But if you have their emails, you can always reach them.
Yeah, nice.
And what's a click-through rate that you'd be happy with? Or
just stats in general that you look at and
So click-through rate depends on like your audience, like how many subscribers that you have. What I really like to look at is open rates. 50% and up is a good open rate.
that would be massive.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's like the goal. Like anytime I do someone's newsletter, I'm like, okay, our goal is like a 50% open rate, and then we can like increase from there because you want to get people excited. You want people to see it in their inbox and they're like, yay, it's here. I want to read this. I mean, because before I worked for 6 AM City, I was like an avid Cola Today reader. I love getting Cola Today in my inbox. And it's something that like I look forward to. Like I'm like, oh, wake up, coffee. Let's see what Cola Today is talking about. So you want to get people excited and engaged, which is hard. And the thing with click-through rates is you have to be like really like engaging in your content because it's hard to get someone to leave what they're on to go somewhere else. So you really got to be engaging and build that audience trust for people to be like, oh, I trust what they're saying. Like, let's look at like their recommendation for whatever.
And then it goes to a website if
Yep.
they click through, and that's
Yep.
kind of the blog site.
Yeah.
Right? That's just a back end link that they wouldn't be able to find unless they got the newsletter.
Yeah, and then like for me with my affiliate links is like I'll do product roundups. Like I'll make a theme, and it's like I keep saying body creams because I did that recently. It's like, oh, winter skin. Like here's these different body creams. Have a brief little blurb about it. Another thing that's going to get people is discount codes, which is why I like affiliate marketing. So it's like, yeah, I get a kickback off your purchase, but you also save on your purchase too. So that also gives people an incentive to like use your links and stuff.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
You think Columbia Family Chiropractic will ever get in that newsletter? They're Columbia's hottest chiropractors, from what I hear.
In All Is Well.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
So All Is Well, we have a chiropractor that has exclusivity in All Is Well.
Okay.
So
All right, so
all
we gotta whack them. All right, I like that.
Well, and you were telling us earlier that you go to a chiropractor every week too,
yes,
right?
I go to Chiropractic Wellness Center.
Yeah.
Dr. Shelley.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what got you into it?
I've really had actually tight shoulders.
Yeah.
And I was like, I would do yoga and I would do all these workouts. And like my feedback from every instructor was like, get your shoulders out of your ears. And I was like, oh, I I didn't really realize that. So I was like, let me do something about this. So I started going to Dr. Shelley, and like she does a really great job of like explaining like why. And another thing too is like, you know, you all know this, like the benefit, like your nervous system benefits from
Right.
chiropractic care. And I'm telling you, I told her the other day, it's like you pop the attitude right out of me. It's like I feel so much better when I
Right.
leave. So
That's great.
yeah, it's been great. My daughter goes too, so that's been good. Like if she's sick, it's like okay, let's
so
take you to
cool,
the
yeah.
chiropractor. She's starting acting weird or like too hype. I mean, she's 4, so she's gonna be a little hype. But I'm like, okay, you need an adjustment.
Yeah.
So that's been great.
It's so cool. I've went to get adjusted since I was 1 year old.
Really?
And we would, like, my mom would save up like every second week on paydays when we got to go get adjusted. And it was great because I looked back at it and we weren't taking any medications all the way across my whole family. I just thought it was normal to never take a Tylenol, never take an Advil, never take drugs. And now with my kids, same thing. They've been adjusted all the way through and they don't take medications or drugs or any issues.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I see it too. Cause it's just like, you know, like I said, like sometimes she'll be like acting weird. I'm like, okay, you need a probiotic. Like maybe something's going on with your gut. It's just like, you know, while medicine has its place for some things, it's just like we should look at things like, you know, more holistically,
Right.
you know, and go from there. So yeah, chiropractic care is great. My parents are scared of it.
Really?
They're like, I heard it makes it worse. And I was like, no, you're just now aware of the tension that you're having. Like now you know what it feels like. Oh, like my back is like
Right.
tight. You have body awareness. That's what you're feeling.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't understand too. If you have a joint or an area that has zero motion and then you move it, it's going to be sore. It's like somebody who's never worked out before saying, I'm scared of working out because my legs are going to be sore the next day. It's like, well,
I have that with Pilates too, because Pilates is all about your core engagement. And like a lot of people just have like a weaker core area. And it's like, oh, I can't do the leg lift. And it's like, yeah, babe, that's why you're here. So we're going to work on that core.
And so speaking of Pilates, which I know we want to get into, I just saw an article. It might have been clickbait.
Okay.
I don't know. But it was saying that women are getting upset because men are invading their space and getting into Pilates classes.
So, and I kind of take this from Rise Fitness and Wellness. Like Caitlin, the owner, she's always like, you know, Pilates is for everybody. So it's like, you know, Pilates was invented by a man.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that. Joseph Pilates was like this like rough, like buff.
Big Joe, yeah.
So it's just like everyone should do it because you're working those like little muscles that you don't think about. And it's just your core is your base. So it's like, I mean, maybe some women are upset, but it's just like, hey, like it was invented by a dude. So
Yeah. I feel like all the owners want more men there, and we're on that team.
yeah.
But then I think what he's getting at is like the attendees, they're mostly women. They might get a little like, oh, I got to wear makeup or I got to.
It's like, girl, stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it. Just vibe.
Yeah.
Just vibe.
Just
and
vibe.
especially if you're on a reformer, it's like when you're on the reformer, you got the shoulder blocks, you're just looking up. So it's like you can't really see who's around you. Like, girl, just vibe. Just vibe. Yeah, more men should do Pilates, I feel like.
For sure.
And then I see the videos of like the NFL players doing it and they're like all like wobbly and stuff. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
The Gamecocks do it.
Yeah.
I see them doing it all the time.
Yeah, it's a great workout. Everyone should do it.
So do you do Pilates you do it at Rise? Is there any other spots that you go to?
Yes. So I teach at Rise, and then I also teach at Rooted Yoga in Rosewood.
Nice.
I teach Mondays and Thursdays there. So I teach there, and then Rise I teach usually on Fridays, and I have private clients at Rise too. And then as far as taking classes, you know, I'll take classes at Rise, but I also like taking classes at Pilates Bodies by Victoria. And she's over on Main Street right next to Lula Drake.
I just saw that.
Yeah, she's great.
Her sign kind of looks like Lula Drake's
Yes,
sign. Is
yeah.
that intentional?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. I want to say, I don't know how long Lula Drake has been there, but she's been there for like 10 years. She's been there for a while.
They copied her.
Yeah, maybe.
Love that.
Or maybe they got together and they're like, let's
it up.
Let's match. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's great. I love taking classes with her too.
So that's cool. Like, so you like getting coached by somebody, even though you know the moves and all the stuff.
Yeah, because I mean, as an instructor, it's like I know the moves, and I know how to cheat. So it's like sometimes I'll cheat. I need someone to be like, "Hey, I see you.
Get that ass
Yeah.
up. You're sagging.
That's not a plank. Get up." Like I need that. Like I would literally, I'll cheat.
Yeah.
It is. I feel like the Pilates world is a little bit fluid too.
Yeah.
in that some people will be at one for a year and then they'll go to a different one for
Yeah,
a year
because
and they'll do 6 months here.
people have their own styles of teaching too. And then there's also classical Pilates, and then there's contemporary Pilates. I teach contemporary Pilates, and I like taking contemporary classes too, because like sometimes if you take a class with me, like we're gonna do planks, we're gonna do squats, but we're gonna carry those Pilates principles with us. It's like, yeah, you're doing your squat, but your core needs to be engaged. So I like that. Whereas like classical Pilates, there's like a list of moves. I can't remember the exact number, and it's like you do those same moves in every class.
Is that, and there's Legree. Is that just a different version of Pilates, I think?
So Legree is not Pilates. It's different, but it's similar in the fact that it's like a low impact workout,
Yeah.
in that there's also like resistance, with the springs and stuff, but like they have their own moves and like their own style
It's
of
like
doing
faster,
things.
right?
It is
Yeah.
faster. Yeah, I've taken Legree classes over at Level.
Level, yeah.
Yeah, and those are great, but
Yeah.
it's not Pilates. It's different, but they have their similarities.
Yeah, they don't. Legree coaches don't like it when you call it Pilates.
And Pilates, we don't like when you
Even
like we don't like it. But because Legree, I want to say it's like trademarked or something, but like Pilates is not. And there was like a court thing a while back for like trying to like trademark Pilates. So it's like you can't have a studio and say that you're a Legree studio if you haven't gone through like the proper protocol. Whereas like Pilates, you can say, hey, this is a Pilates class, and like the person does not have like a Pilates certification.
Tom could teach a Pilates class.
He could say like this is Pilates, and it's like, no, it's
Sweet.
not.
Tom Lottie's.
Tom Lottie, you could make your own. Tom Lottie's.
You got to brand that for sure.
You heard it here first.
That's
Tom
right.
Lottie's.
Coming soon. So do you have a favorite Pilates move? Like what's your like get me in this position and I'll crank?
Favorite Pilates move.
Like somebody's gonna come film you.
Okay.
And that you got 10 seconds or 15 seconds of film.
Okay.
You go, throw me into this.
Oh, planks on the Pilates box, like on the reformer. So it's like,
Really?
yeah, you got the box and it's like facing, like the back area. You got your forearms on there. Feet are on like your scratch pad, going from plank to bear or like plank to a pike. Yeah, that's cute.
That's your show
Yeah,
off
that's
move.
cute. I'll do
it.
that.
I do the one where you're doing the bicep curls.
Oh,
With
yeah.
a dumbbell.
No, with the strap.
with a strap.
Yeah. I do that sometimes in my classes. Yeah.
Yeah, that would make for a good photo. Too.
Yeah. Make sure you keep your elbows up though. We're not sagging.
Oh, you think I have bad
You got
form?
I'm making
You
sure.
can tell just by looking at me.
I'm just giving you the tips so you can remember subconsciously, elbows up. So when
Yep.
you do take your Pilates
Just
picture,
in case I'm in a Pilates photo shoot
Exactly.
soon.
you're ready.
All right, that's good. We're gonna try out Tremble.
Okay.
Have you been there yet?
I have not, but I've heard it's fun.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit different spin on it too, which I
Mm-hmm.
don't fully know. And some of them have heat as well.
Really?
Yeah, Studio
like
Studio Fire
yeah.
is a lot like that.
Yeah. I haven't been to Studio Fire since they moved to like their new location. But yeah, I used to go there and do like the heated yoga, and it was great.
Yeah.
I used to get all as well mixed up with as well as.
Yeah. So, because I think they were as well 1st,
Mm-hmm.
and then something happened where someone else had it like trademarked, and they're like, "Hey, you need to change this." So then
Yeah.
they added the as well as or something
Gotcha.
like that. But yeah, all is well. When I was thinking about a name, I was like, "Okay, wellness," and it just came to me one
Yeah,
day. I was
it's
like,
catchy.
all is well.
Besides Pilates, like what workout style would you do?
I love lifting weights. I've started doing that. I was training over at Temple. That was good.
Nice.
Yeah, me and my friend, we were doing some personal training there. So I like lifting weights. Cardio, not really my vibe. I'll walk, but I'm not going to run.
Not a jogger.
No, not doing
I love
that.
that about you.
Yeah, I'm just like, no. Like one time I
Where
tried
we running
it.
from?
If I was in danger, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. For sport, it's like, no.
Yeah.
When I worked in news, there was a news anchor. His name was Todd, and he had like some brain surgery or something. He's fine. He had like a brain surgery, and he woke up from it. And he's like, something told me like to start running, and I was like, yeah, because like what? That tracks. Like I'm not what? No. So yeah, I'm not running. One time I did try, and I was like, what am I doing? I'm gonna stop. Jumping, I'm not jumping either. I just don't want to
Staying
do
on
it.
the ground.
Yeah, I'm staying. Burpees, sorry, can't. Jumping jacks, I'm doing the side step thing. I just don't want to do that.
Well, there is something about running, so I'm going to defend all the
Okay.
runners.
Oh,
here.
no,
Okay.
here he
Okay.
goes. And he's also a helmet guy with the while driving a car.
Oh my
so
God,
like
no.
it's hard to
No, I am big into safety. Not a helmet in your car,
Oh, I was like,
but
oh my God.
always
I love
a
that
seat.
she even thought
was
that
like,
could
No,
be true.
no, a helmet on a motorcycle and a
Okay.
seatbelt in a car.
Oh, I'm big on seatbelts.
Automatic.
It's like, yeah. My dad, like, you hear the ding, ding. I'm like, put your seatbelt on.
Yeah,
Like,
the noise really
Yeah.
pisses me
it's
off.
just like, okay, put it on, you know?
yeah.
And if you're going to work on an electrical outlet, I'm big on turning off the breaker. Like some
Oh.
guys do it live, and I just think.
Oh, I'm
that's-
never doing that. So,
Yeah,
but that's good to
that's
know.
silly.
Yeah, no.
But something happens when you're running really far.
Okay.
And I've run a marathon before. I've talked about that, but I
my
was
God.
I got last place,
Yeah.
and
But you ran it, so that's an
it
accomplishment.
was terrible. And people told me that I only need to train for the first 21 miles, and then the
Okay.
last 5 miles kind of you do on adrenaline, and I crushed it for the first 21, and then it hit 22, and my body just couldn't move.
Oh my God.
They were dumping. I had my one friend Nick Wilson dumping like pure sugar and chips into my mouth, and then it would hit my bloodstream. And this is after over 5 hours of running.
Oh my gosh.
And then I would just run, and then I'd be able to run for a little while, and then it would like everything would shut down, and then he would dump some more in there,
5
and then I could
hours
run.
of running.
Yeah, and
See,
that's being
why?
generous to
Like, why
myself.
is
Is
it-
longer
why
than
did
that.
you do that?
In circles too.
No, I ran track, but I was a sprinter.
Yeah.
I run fast and I'm done.
But something mentally happens, is what I'm
The
saying.
runner's
where
high?
It's a runner's high, but when you're by yourself for that long doing something really hard, you work out things within yourself
Okay.
that you don't realize you'd been hanging on to or struggling with, or maybe you'd been taking the easy way out of things for a while, and then you're in there thinking like, if I can run 5 hours, I can do
You know,
this thing.
that's actually really good because it's like being able to check in with yourself and like reflect. A lot of people don't know how to reflect.
Right.
That's something I learned. Like a lot of people do not know how to reflect, and reflecting is important, and especially like touching base with yourself on your emotions, and like not just like the emotions we all talk about, like being mad or being happy, like the gritty emotions that like people are afraid to talk about, like guilt or like shame. Like being able to like check in with yourself and say like, hey, like I feel this way, and like
Yeah.
how can I move forward from it? So that's good. If you do that with running, that's good. I do that without the running though.
I don't do it anymore.
like a
I
sound
said
bowl.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done with that. Well,
Okay.
now I do like 2 miles or 3 miles at a time.
Oh, just 2 or 3 miles.
Well, like Orange Theory has the 12-minute run for distance,
oh my gosh.
or they'll have like 1 mile run as fast as you can, but they make you record it,
Oh my gosh.
and then you have to post it and look at it, and compare it
did-
year after year.
I did Orange Theory one time when I was in Idaho, and just seeing all the stuff on the board, it made me anxious.
It's a lot.
Like your
and
heart
I'm,
rate?
And I'm like, well, no, because they have everyone else's stuff, and I'm really competitive, so I try not to do competitive stuff. Because like I like, oh my gosh, Deanna had like an event. It was like one of her Rose Resilience events, and it was like a trivia thing. And like me and my friends were doing it, and they were so bad. Love my girls, they were so bad, and I just had to be like, it's fine, it's okay. And like I'm just drinking wine, like this is good. I'm not mad at y'all. Like we're losing, that's fine, that's cool. But I'm really competitive, so I try to chill.
And then you didn't talk to them again for a little while.
I
You
had
cool
to
no
off.
longer
I had
friends.
to have like a 5-minute like, okay, that was really bad, so let me just have some time.
Deanna throws amazing events, doesn't
Deanna
she?
throws amazing events. Yes, you said it. Yes.
Well, that was
great
like
events.
a wedding without the boring stuff, is what I
Yes.
thought. I was like, this is great.
Yes, and it's great because it's like great for networking too. You know,
Yeah,
like
tons of people.
tons of people, and like I kind of like joke about networking events. I don't like networking events, like
Yeah.
the ones you got the name tag, and
Mm-hmm.
because it's just so like forced, you know. But this was like a fun. Everyone's enjoying themselves. It's for a good cause, you know. So she does a great job. And then like the other events that she had, like, you know, bringing awareness to like all these other, you know, things that we don't talk about, like infertility and things like that. It's like bringing awareness to really important topics while also like having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I always knew that nobody else knew, was that I'm great at taking photos of people.
Oh,
And at that event, I got asked to take a ton of photos of people, and they were great. I was looking at like Oddity, Hannah Boyles, Katie Haney. They asked me to take their photos, and when they were posting them, I was looking at them like, that looks professional.
I
I need to
did
tag
see.
you for creds.
I should have
I
got
did see
credit for
them.
that.
Those
well,
were
I'm
good.
kind of hoping that they're going to hear this now
Yeah,
and give me a little more
Let's
credit.
get a
I
tag.
did some lighting for him for a little bit too on some of his
Okay.
photography.
Actually, yeah, they did. They basically had professional. You should have done it. I saw your photo there too, and it looked good.
Thank
But I
you.
think it could have. I mean,
could have
it could have
benefited
been
from some
better.
tweaks.
Yeah,
I
you
get
could have
that.
used a little lighting and a little different angle. I think would have gone.
Don't be shy to ask.
The girl taking the picture was like, okay, blow a kiss. I was like, and I did it. I
Was it
like,
the security guard?
Yes.
She was great.
She
though.
was. I was like, I see where you were going with
Yeah.
that. That was good.
Yes.
Yeah.
She told me to like kiss my wife's shoulder, and that we both looked at each other and started dying laughing. But she's like, perfect. That's what I wanted,
Yeah.
the laughter.
Cute.
I was like, that's good.
She was good. She was good.
Yeah.
Okay, did you do sports growing up?
I
I
did.
heard track.
I ran track. I played volleyball for a stint. I
Little
did
dabble.
that. A little dabbled in volleyball. And that's really it. But I always liked working out.
Well, I got a question about volleyball real quick.
Okay.
Just the outfits.
Okay.
What's the reason that we're doing tights? Like, because like when tights weren't cool, like it's been tights ever since I growing up.
Yeah.
Now, like that's a thing. But that was the team where it was always like, whoa, why aren't we wearing shorts?
Well, I went to Christian school, so we had on
you
like
had
these
shorts.
like big
Like
shorts.
sweatpants.
Yeah. Yeah, we were in like a whole sweatsuit.
It was
pretty
tight.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I don't
No
know.
real reason then.
No.
Like it's and even just at the college level. I mean, I understand you don't want things like getting in the way.
Yeah.
But like regular shorts.
Yeah,
don't
regular
really
shorts should be
get in the
fine.
way.
Yeah. No, we had on.
I wonder who
something
came
else.
up with that. They're like, I got an idea.
How about everyone wears this? Maybe it's the fashion.
Right.
Well, there's nothing wrong with a little
Yeah,
fashion.
I think it's a nice way to brand yourself.
yeah.
Yeah.
Branding is
Well,
important.
beach volleyball, excellent fashion.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, the
when
sand volleyball?
I was in Jamaica, I have a cousin. He plays volleyball for Fort Valley, and his dad plays volleyball too. And there was like this beach tournament, and they were whooping everybody.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I would not want to go up against them. They won the
Right.
whole thing. Like it was wild.
Really, Jamaican beach volleyball.
Yeah.
Again, they're just strong.
Yeah. That cricket. Cricket. Do you watch
You
cricket?
did cricket?
No.
Oh.
I know
watch
nothing
it.
Well,
about
how about
I'll
Jamaican
watch it.
bobsled team?
I love Cool Runnings. That's a
Great
good
movie.
movie. Yeah, there's that. There's cricket. There's like netball, which is like basketball, but not. Soccer is really big. We're a soccer
Yeah.
family. We're a soccer family. So like when Liverpool and Manchester played, my sister, and my dad went to that because Liverpool's his team.
Yeah.
And like when soccer is on, we know like, okay, let's leave dad alone. Like,
Yeah.
so I didn't grow up watching like football or anything else. It was soccer.
And now you're doing a million different
Yeah.
things. Like it sounds like your sports career was kind of similar to your
Yeah.
now current job title.
Yes.
Netball's hilarious
Yeah.
to me. I got to look that up.
I think my mom played that. She had like a stint of playing that.
Is netball the one where you have a little thing in the middle and you bounce it off a little
No.
trampoline?
No, it's like basketball. Like
you like dribble and
Yeah.
shoot. There's just no rim.
yeah, I don't even
backboard?
know. I don't even know.
I have no
Oh,
clue.
I know
I've never-
that's a
I don't
thing.
think I know what that
Maybe
is.
I made it up. Maybe that was a fever dream and that doesn't exist. I don't know. Look it up. Let me know. I think it's a thing.
So what advice? So I'm curious then on advice
Okay.
for someone who's 18 or 19 or trying to find their way. And what that looks like if you don't know. Some people know. Like when I was 14, I knew I wanted to be a chiropractor. The only thing I ever thought about or wanted was being a chiropractor. But then I had a lot of friends and family members who they had no clue either. They had to try different things and move in different directions and see.
That's a good question because I was kind of the same way. It was like I was growing up. I was like, I want to be a news reporter, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. But then I had that moment where it's like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I think just deciding what you want to do comes with a lot of reflection. It's gonna have to come with like a lot of self-awareness, a lot of time by yourself. Sometimes when we're going through things, we want to make ourselves busy or plan all these things with our friends. Or it's like you really should be by yourself and get to know yourself and see what you like to do. What do you enjoy? Like what makes you happy? Taking that list and seeing how you can translate that into a career and just going from there is just like, what makes you happy? I never really went into things for money, especially not news. Oh goodness. I signed my first contract for like $23,000 a year. I was making like nothing.
Yeah.
But it was because I had like a passion to do this thing. So, You know, when they say, oh, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life, that's actually not true. But you will enjoy it more. You know, you got to do what you like and do what you see fit.
Love that. Now, how long you been with Rosewood for, or helping without their marketing?
Almost like a year now,
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
I was wondering, just when pre-Whole Foods, like Rosewood was the thing, and then Earth Fare.
Yeah.
Then Whole Foods rolled in. Did that impact Rosewood a lot? Like,
I would say no, because Rosewood has has a vibe. You know,
Yeah.
I personally don't even like going to other grocery stores anymore because it's just like it just has its own vibe. And the fact too that it's locally owned. It's owned by Brian. Brian's a great person. Him and his wife, they're awesome. You know, sometimes like in the summertime, you might see Brian's kids working in the store too.
we need Brian on the show.
Get Brian on here. He'd be great.
Let's have him.
Yes.
Do you know his last name?
I can't pronounce it. That's so bad. But I'm the marketing person, so I'm who you
Oh,
should
you're the
talk to.
person.
Yeah. So this is good. Let's get
Great.
Brian on
We'll
here.
Get him on the sketch.
Yeah, he's great. And, you know, it's a good family-owned business. And, you know, like, when you're shopping there, you're getting high-quality products.
Right.
Like, the care and the effort that goes into sourcing products for the store is a lot. Like, you're not going to find stuff with, like, artificial flavoring and all this other junk that's in stuff.
Right.
So it's, like, very, like, thoughtfully curated. And then the deli is great. The deli staff is awesome. And then there's a lot of thought and care that goes into the menu, too.
Sweet. Randy doesn't understand like a vibe. He's
Okay.
not an energy person.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like he walks into places
Yeah.
and just
You're like more of like a functional, like this is good.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
I
Like,
can see that.
I like you to just have the things that
Okay.
you should have in stock.
Yeah.
I'm
no,
big on that.
I get that, but then you also want to feel good, you know,
Yeah.
while you're shopping. I like to feel good while I'm shopping. If I'm like in Publix or something, now I'm like talking shit.
Yeah.
But if I'm like in Publix and like the bright lights and it feels like I'm at
Stale.
the doctor or something.
Yeah, I'm at the hospital.
Yeah, I don't like it. I like a vibe. You got good music playing.
yeah.
The staff does the playlist. It's good. You're having
Yep.
a vibe. It's
Yeah,
fun.
they're eating healthy. You could tell
Yeah.
they're eating healthy.
Yeah.
They care.
On Wednesdays, there's a wine tasting from 12 to 2. Michael, he's like over, you know,
Little
the wine
lunch
section.
wine?
Yeah. Oh, I've done that before.
Wow.
Where Michael has a wine tasting. I'm like, oh, I like this bottle. And like me and my friend Lindsay, we got a bottle. We got something from the deli. We got some cups. And we sat on the
kidding.
patio and had like a little wine.
Never even thought of a
Yeah.
little lunch wine.
It's great. The patio is awesome. So,
Sweet.
Yeah, I might as I get older, I might be more into vibes.
yeah.
But
I'm trying
I
to teach him like
yeah,
a,
I'm
what
trying
a
to
vibe
learn.
is.
I just
He
don't.
doesn't
I
get
just
it.
don't get
It's
it.
because he's not doing sound bowls.
You got to get into
Once
the
we
sound
lay him
bowls.
down and play a little sound bowl
Yoga
with him,
Nidra.
he'll start feeling some things he's never
Yeah.
felt.
I like functional. Like this is. I think there's just more on the efficiency side that I
I get
really
that.
appreciate, and I find if I could have a good experience with strong efficiency, I'm all about that.
What's
But
your
if
zodiac sign?
like my
Yeah. Like,
Aries fire sign.
you're supposed to be fiery. You're supposed to
Yeah.
like the
Yep.
vibes.
Yep.
What's going on?
See,
You're giving maybe
because
your
I'm a
rising
fire
sign.
sign.
Okay, yeah, that tracks. Yeah, you're very like,
Sagittarius.
oh, this way.
What? They're the best.
No, Sagittarius are fine. I'm a Capricorn, so I follow, you know, Sagittarius. But
Gotcha.
yeah, so sometimes like people are like, oh, you're a Sagittarius. I'm like, no, I'm not.
Oh,
I'm
anti-Sag.
but I'm the first day of Capricorn, so I'm like, no, I'm not.
But
I'm a Capricorn.
you dabble a little bit.
No, I'm a Capricorn.
Really?
I'm a and my rising sign, I'm a Virgo, so like I'm all Earth signs.
I've never met a Sagittarius that isn't awesome. Like they're just fun, easy going, cool.
I got a high school
Heroic.
boyfriend, and he's a Sagittarius, and he's awful. So I'll tell you that.
Oh boy! All right, I've never met him.
Capricorns. Well, I've always heard that Capricorns are really nice unless they're hungry or really tired.
Oh, here he
That
goes.
or if you
or if
I'm
you
very-
cross them.
yeah, like if
they're
you cross
patient
me,
until you
it's-
cross the
yeah.
line.
Y'all seen Goodfellas when he like what's his name? He messed up or something, then the guy gave him the money. He's like, now I gotta turn my back to you. Like that's me. Like I'm like, I gotta turn my back to you. You're done. Yeah.
Yep.
But it takes a lot to get there though. Yeah. Once I'm
Yeah.
done, I'm done.
But Randy just makes up things though, too.
Okay.
He'll be like, "Oh
I
yeah,
do.
they're."
Well, I
What
just
found
say
is that
general
they're-
things, but but with a but.
Yeah.
I mean,
He goes, they're generally hydrated unless they're thirsty, like if they haven't had water.
there's like some psychology to that too. Like people say that about like psychics and stuff. Is like they're just throwing out general things, and then
kind of learn as you go and keep narrowing it down.
Watching people's like mannerisms, like okay, that resonated.
It's like I'm sensing that you had a man in your life at one point. Did you have a man in your life at one point?
And it's like yes,
You
I
did. You did. Okay, wait. They may have been related to you. Was they related to you?
Oh my goodness, yes.
They were. All right. They're saying something to me right now.
Could be a father figure or maybe a brother.
Yeah.
You have
Start an uncle, a distant cousin, and then it's like yes.
they're stepping
I
forward.
think you
right
guys
now.
had some sort of argument, and they're wanting to tell you that they forgive you.
And it's like
we need a psychic.
They're crying. They're like yes.
Yeah.
How did you know? I felt it.
Our friend said we need a local psychic to come on the show. Do you
Are there
know
any?
any?
No.
That's what I'm on a hunt for one.
Let's
See if
find
we
a
can get one
psychic.
on.
I said let's. I'm also.
You're on the
I'm
team.
also
You're part
a
of it now.
co-host.
Yeah, you're on the team now.
Yeah. Then there has to be one. There
I know,
has to be a
I
local
know.
psychic. Oh, I know a lady that does like Kundalini yoga and stuff. She's
Is that
awesome.
the like porno yoga?
No.
What's that one called?
I don't know, but
I see.
I'm not sure about that. However,
That's what I asked a yoga person that we had on too. Like I thought it came from like, but it wasn't. Like I thought it came from like sexual.
well, that's
stuff,
like
but it
tantric
wasn't.
stuff. So
Oh,
you're
maybe
yeah,
that was
tantrics.
the-
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
that's
they
a
said
thing.
no as well. I was like, oh
Yeah.
man, I'm way off.
Yeah, no, there's like tantric and there's like tantric sex and all this
Yeah.
other spicy stuff. I don't know nothing about that, but it exists. Yeah.
Next week's newsletter.
My friends make fun of me. I'm like the oh my goodness. I'm the modest
Yeah.
friend. I'm like, oh no. Like if it's a Sex in the City, I'm Charlotte. Like I'm like,
Right.
oh my goodness,
What's
no.
going on here? Now, with your newsletters, do you have to like get investigators or sources or anything that you have to trust?
Yes.
Like, how do you do that? How do you have a source? I always wanted a source.
So for me, I'm very big on like, hey, I don't know, but I can find out for
Yeah.
you. So it's like just asking around. Like I'm never gonna give like chiropractic advice. I'm not a chiropractor.
right.
That's not my lane. But I can find a chiropractor to ask. Same thing with like skincare. It's like I'm not giving you skincare advice. I don't know. But I have a friend that's an esthetician. That can give you skincare advice. Like I featured my friend Antonia. She's over at About You Aesthetics, or my friend Haley over at the Boutique. Like I can ask them stuff. So yeah, like if I don't know, I'll just find out. So it's all about like knowing people and just asking around too. So it's like there's someone in your network that can like have these answers for you.
Nice.
The biggest thing is don't pretend like you know if you don't. That's
Right.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and there's always going to be controversial things that you might
Mm-hmm.
want to have in there, but you're not really sure. Because I always find, and a big one for us was the whole vaccine world, because
Yeah.
15 or 20 years ago, we were like, we're not putting that in our body. And then when
Yeah.
our kids were born, we were really like, they're giving the hepatitis B at 1 day old.
Yeah.
That's insane. And 15 years ago, we were like crunchy
Yeah.
left wingers moved to California. And then it turned into all of a sudden like, oh, that's extreme.
Yeah.
Right. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, there's all these things are getting very political, and then you're
Yeah.
not sure what direction to go.
And that's so true too, because like that's the thing with like things are getting political where it's just like, why? Like
Right.
people should be allowed to like make these decisions for themselves and do what they see best for like their children or themselves. Just I've definitely noticed, and I really stay away from politics because one, it's depressing. And it also causes like so much of a divide. It's like you've got people that are related and grew up together and they don't speak
Right.
over like politics. And it's like I'm not saying it's not important, but it's like it's not everything.
And you don't know what's true.
You don't know what's
It's just
true.
like-
And that's important. You got to think for yourself. And that's something
Yeah.
like my parents instilled in me from like a very early age. Like I would say stuff like, oh, mom, I want to be like you when I grow up. And she's like, no, be like yourself.
Yeah.
People don't think for themselves. They'll see something on like TikTok or something like, oh, this must be the truth. And it's like, no, like do some digging and like figure it out.
Yeah.
Form your own opinions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting. Like I've heard before, some people say that they'll ask questions, and if the person just follows every single thing on the party line, then you know they're not really thinking for
Yeah.
themselves. They're just
Right.
You're just
following the
following
party
a
line.
checklist.
But if they have a nuanced opinion on different things, then you're like, okay, that person really thinks for themselves and knows.
Because the fact of the matter is, you're not going to agree. Like, you can like somebody, but you're not going to agree with every single thing that they say, and you're really not supposed to. And like, and also, you don't have to take that and make it like an argument or like a me versus you kind of thing. It's like, it's okay to be like, okay, we don't agree on this, but whatever.
Yeah. I love people that are just open to hearing
Yeah.
even weird shit.
Yeah. Oh, I love a conspiracy theory.
Yes.
It's like, tell me.
Oh,
Yes.
that's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's make this a segment.
Yeah.
Should we open just like a conspiracy
We
segment?
need it because,
Yeah.
well, and a lot of them they come true.
Yeah, they do.
If you're open. Like the
Yeah.
people that shut them down right away, I can't.
I'm just like, okay, like, you got to open your mind up a little
Right,
bit.
right.
My
Just hear it.
favorite is like, I don't think we went to the moon.
100%.
Because why didn't we go again?
there's so many reasons
And-
that are
and
just
we're
the
like-
moon thing's insane.
And we're in like such a capitalist society. If we can go to the moon, they'd be selling tickets to the moon just like that.
100%.
We didn't go to the moon.
One of the things I saw that was just mind blowing is like the furthest we've sent humans off of planet Earth since 1969 is 800 miles into space.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
800 miles off of Earth. You know how far the moon is? 240,000 miles away.
We went one time and we're never able to go back. We
Like
didn't go to the
stuff
moon.
like that's great. You know what else weirds me out about the moon? That also just feels like something's fishy. We only see one side of the moon.
That's true.
Like and like when you look it up, because I was like, wait, is that true? It's saying like we're rotating as the same perfect amount that the moon is, that we only see the one side.
Oh my gosh.
Like think about that.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound right with
No.
magnetism and flying through space at millions of miles an hour and spinning and
It doesn't make sense and it doesn't add up. And then also a lot of the pictures we see are not actual pictures. It's just like, here's what we think it looks like.
that's what I like. How are you not just open to hearing that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, we
People
didn't.
are like,
Yeah.
oh, no, we've been.
No, we didn't go to
Come
the
on.
moon. And then the whole debate on if the Earth is flat. My opinion on it is like maybe.
I know.
I
I'm
don't
getting
know.
open to it.
I don't. Maybe.
You keep the door cracked and say,
I
all right,
don't.
come
I don't
on in.
know. I
It's
don't
not-
know.
Yeah.
Same thing with what's the other one where it's like the elites are like reptiles.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know.
I've never met them in
starting to
person.
get
Oh,
into
you guys
that.
are in the
They-
same
They
logarithm.
we
could.
did a whole segment on this.
Let's,
it is.
Let's do it again. Let's.
We have a friend. This is what's great. We have a friend who's just like our go-to for this, and then but he just rattles it off.
Oh,
on,
okay,
like,
yeah.
what it is.
That's like okay. Let's relax. Like, okay.
Great.
Let's scale
It's
it
so
back.
funny. I know. We make lists. So like, and one just got one of our other friends like just publicized it via text message to like a big group.
Oh my gosh.
That like behind the scenes, we write down like, all right, let's ask Ryan this, and
Yeah.
we just put stuff like, is Taylor Swift a reptile?
That is so fun. Maybe
Like stuff like that.
I never met her.
That
She
would be
could
one of them.
I don't know.
And like dumb stuff like what's with Hawaii was
Yeah.
one of the things.
Me and my husband will watch like these iceberg videos where
Yeah.
it's like, you know,
Out Antarctica or
yeah.
just
Well, no, not
Oh,
literally, but it's
that's a
like they'll
whole
go
other-
down like different rabbit holes of
Yeah.
stuff. It's fun. I'm like,
I know.
wow, maybe. I
I
don't know.
know.
I wasn't there.
I
Q-
love it.
All right, so devil's advocate
Okay.
as usual.
Oh my gosh, I gotta go
God.
soon, y'all. Go ahead.
Yeah.
QAnon was completely
Q.
wrong. Q.
Yeah, we can call it short.
And all the people who believed in that seem to have forgotten that they believed in that and how gullible they
there was
were.
a lot of
Yeah.
right stuff, I think,
Yeah.
though, in it.
I mean,
Wow, there was
well,
a lot of wrong stuff.
a broken clock is right 2 times a day,
Yes.
so that
It was
you know,
vague enough. It was
Yeah,
almost like
vague
they were
enough.
saying like almost like horoscope
Yeah.
things where like it probably applies and you'll
Yeah.
remember the things that were true and not the things that
Well,
weren't.
the thing about it is, it's just like blindly following anything is just insane. Like I used to be like cults. Like how can someone join a cult? But
Right.
then when that happened, I was like, I can
Oh, yeah.
see how
Makes
that
sense.
happens.
Yep.
Yeah. You shouldn't blindly just follow anything. And like
No, no.
it was I've watched some documentaries on it. I'm like, this is like
Yeah.
scary how you can like convince like a mass group of people like all these random things.
Yep.
So yeah.
Good stuff.
right.
All right.
Yeah. This has been a blast.
Well, yeah.
I'm
How do
having
we
fun.
how do we promote you? What can our listeners do? What's how do they can do privates with you?
Yeah, so if you want a private Pilates lesson, I'm at Rise Fitness and Wellness. If you want a group class, I'm also at Rise Fitness and Wellness and Rooted Yoga. You can subscribe to All Is Well. If you go to my Instagram or the All Is Well Instagram, which is alliswell.wellness, the link to subscribe to the newsletter is in that bio.
Great. This episode was a vibe, Randall.
Vibe.
This was a vibe.
That's the word
I'll
of the
agree
day.
with that.
I mean, it was fun.
Thanks for
All
being
right,
on.
thanks for listening.
Thanks, y'all.
We're here for the health of it.
For the health of it.